So I struggled with the punches in my kicks for a long time, and that's true for most hardstyle producers, because punches remain one of the harder components in hardstyle to get right. New and even intermediate producers often have no idea where to start, and I'll admit it took a long time before it really clicked for me as well. So in this video I'm going to show you the framework of building kick punches from scratch. We'll go over how to begin the process, how to shape the punch, and we'll look at what components go into making a punch. Let's get into it. Alright, so first, let's take a listen to the project we're going to look at today. So this is a typical kick for pitching and for melodic drops, right? It has the punch that brings character to the kick, and then it has the tail that's very squashed and crunchy. Now, the punch itself consists of 4 elements, but really only 3 if you don't count the punch reverb as a punch element. Let's take a listen to them. So as we can hear, each of the elements have very important roles. Like, if we take any of these elements out, the punch wouldn't work. Right, so each of the elements are equally important. Alright, so we always want to start making a punch by creating the tonal layer first. This is the layer that defines the character of the punch. And we always start with this and then build the other elements around it. Now let's talk about the source, because to create this sound, we need to have a sound or a source to begin with, right? In this case, the source is a snare sample that's transposed of 14 semitones. Now, there's nothing special about transposing it up, that's just what worked in this specific case, but the reason why a snare is a good starting point is because it fills out a large portion of the frequency spectrum. Having a lot of frequencies as a starting point is important because we're going to use EQ and distortion to create the character of the punch, but if there's no frequencies to EQ and distort, we're not going to be able to create that character. For example, if we use a really clean EDM kick, it's all sub and the high frequencies only exist in the transient, so there's no sustained frequencies to create the character out of. Now, you could distort the EDM kick and create a bunch of harmonics that would give you that sustained frequency content. But using something like a snare or even white noise gives us those frequencies right away. So that's the first thing to consider. The source is important.
Real quick guys, check out my website. There's helpful free tools like this spectrum analyzer. And if you use Silent One, this preset pack is as good as it gets for hardstyle leads. Scan the code or use the link in the description.
Next, we want to create the character in the punch. And we do that by gaining certain frequencies, typically around the mid frequencies, and follow it up with a distortion plugin. This will drive these frequencies up into the ceiling of the distortion and give the source a very distorted character. There's no rules for this step, there's no guidelines. You want to go completely by feel and see if you can bring out a character that'll be fitting for a punch. Once we've found a character that we like, we can start making tweaks to the punch to make it more interesting. And I'll give you a couple of tips here. The first thing I use is this time shaper in Shaper Box. But really what it is just a slow down effect or tape stop effect. You can create the same effect in many different ways. What it does is that it pitches down the punch towards the end. Listen to this. You can hear how it pitches down towards the end. This will often make for a more interesting punch rather than having it statically in the same pitch all the way through. Another thing that can make the punch more interesting is to give it stereo content. There's many ways to do this, and I've said this before, many of you are overusing stereo effects, so be careful with this. But one way to do this is to use a very short reverb and only let a small amount of the reverb signal through. Having stereo content in the punch is actually quite important for the kick, and it's something we discuss a lot in my upcoming masterclass. Now, at this point, we've created the character and we've made it more interesting, so tonally it's more or less where we want it to be. And so from here, what's left to do is to dynamically shape it and shape the frequency balance of it. Let's look at how we dynamically shape it. I like to use Volume Shaper because it gives me full control over the dynamic of the waveform. So right now, the punch is just a stream of distorted noise, right? And we want to shape that into the dynamic profile of the punch. Usually that means that we want to create a transient in the beginning and then have the body of the punch coming after. So usually something like this. And we can hear that this shape brings out the transient of the punch, and in the oscilloscope we can see that it's more dynamic now and not so much of a brick of noise. After that, we want to do some corrective EQing. This is where we shape the frequency balance so it's going to fit in a track. This usually involves taking out a lot of low frequencies and then shaping the highs in whatever way the punch needs. Sometimes you need to get really surgical here, and sometimes you only need to use broader strokes. And that's it for the main element of the punch. So the steps of creating this element are, first of all, we pick a source that has a lot of frequencies present to begin with. Otherwise, we make the frequencies by starting with distortion. Next, we use EQ and distortion to create the tonal character we're after. Then we add details like stereo content and pitch bending. Then we dynamically shape the punch. And finally, we do corrective EQing to give the punch the final frequency balance. The next two elements are complementary to the main punch element. Like I said, we start with the main element and then we build these other two elements around it. So we have the click, which is going to add to the transient of the punch. And then we have the sub of the punch. And we're not going to dive into these in the same way, that's content for the masterclass, but we are going to touch on them on a surface level. So the click is important because the main punch usually don't have the character to create enough impact in the transient. And so very often we need an additional source to layer on top of the punch to create that snappy transient. People use all sorts of different sounds for this layer. It's cymbals, rides, claps, snares, all kinds of percussion elements that has high frequency content. I like to synthesize my own click sound simply because you get more control using a synthesizer. It starts as a simple laser kick, and with processing it turns into a brief, clicky, sort of transient white noise layer. Now, for the sub and the punch, we need a layer to fill out the low end in the punch and give that push in the chest in the beginning of the kick. Remember, we cut out all low end from the punch earlier, so now we have to replace it. For this layer, it's the same story. People use different things: club kicks, EDM kicks, techno kicks. There's no right or wrong, but I like to use a synthesizer for this because, once again, I have full control over how the low end behaves. Usually we want to dynamically shape it so that the energy of the sub emerges slightly delayed. This way the transient comes through and then we get that kick from the sub. This will be different for different kicks, but this usually works well for pitch kicks. This layer should be fully mono and then we just want to EQ to taste. And that's it. That's the framework of creating hardstyle kick punches from scratch. Now, from here you can play around with adding reverb or additional layers for more brightness, or even process all the punch layers together at the end. But in terms of making the punch, this is how you do it. Let's take a listen to the result one last time. Alright guys, that's all for this video. Remember, I answer all questions, so if you have any, put them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.